Just a reminder that all proceeds from our channel are donated to charity. Please help us help others by giving us a thumbs up, commenting, or subscribing to our channel. Your support makes a difference.
If you follow us, you know that there are usually two of us. But this time, one of us was invited to lecture about our trip to Africa, and I didn't want to attend the conference, so I took the opportunity to do something I've wanted to try, a solo river cruise on AmaWaterways. If you're thinking about doing a river cruise alone, especially with AmaWaterways, this video is for you. I'm going to share why I chose to cruise solo, what AmaWaterways got right, from booking to onboard events, and what didn't quite hit the mark for solo travelers. I'll also give you my best tips to help make your solo river cruise smoother, more enjoyable, and safer. So let's get to it. Doing my first river cruise alone was one of the most fulfilling travel experiences I've ever had. There's something about solo travel that makes you feel fiercely independent and maybe even a little unstoppable. When most people think about solo cruising, it's usually ocean lines like Norwegian with their studio cabins and built-in social scenes. But solo river cruising? That's a little different. Smaller ships, fewer people, and a more intimate environment. I chose AmaWaterways for my solo cruise because they were running a promotion I couldn't pass up, and I was curious. I'd cruised with other lines before, but this was my first time sailing Ama alone. There are a lot of reasons solo travelers are turning to river cruising, and safety is a big one. You're not figuring things out in a foreign city on your own. Your ship is your floating hotel, and the staff usually knows where you are, especially if you're on an organized excursion or part of the daily touring plan. Excursions are organized, and because the group size is small, you often end up with guests you've already met on board or on previous tours. That familiarity builds quickly, and it makes it easier to connect and feel comfortable. And when you're on board, access is limited to crew and passengers. There's a sense of comfort and security you just don't get at a big hotel or on a massive ship. For a solo traveler, especially if you're new to international travel or just want peace of mind, that structure really matters. You can focus on enjoying the experience without constantly worrying about how to get from point A to point B. It wasn't super easy to find a solo deal on AmaWaterways. For me, I had a general idea of when I wanted to travel and where I wanted to go. Fortunately, most online booking platforms let you plug in just one passenger to preview pricing, and that's how I found my deal. On Ama's website, there are two ways to look for solo rates. First, under special offers, they sometimes list reduced solo fares, but it's not easy to search. You may run into a request a quote button with this method, which isn't very helpful if you're just trying to do your own research. So I prefer using another way to check AmaWaterways pricing. Of course, you can always consult a travel advisor at this stage, but I personally enjoy researching cruises and comparing prices myself. The way I found my fare was mostly trial and error. I knew the general time of year I wanted to travel and the region I was interested in, so I searched specific items. When you click Reserve Now, you'll be taken to a reservation screen where you can check prices, adjust the number of passengers, and view extension options. Then I played around with different dates until I found the best pricing. It took a little work, but it was worth it. Let's dive into what I booked and the key parts of my experience for solos from beginning to end. I'll start with what AmaWaterways got right and why those aspects mattered. I added the pre-cruise extension and the airport transfer. That transfer was about $30, but for me, it was absolutely worth it. Arriving alone in Zurich after dark, I was met outside the arrivals hall by a driver holding a sign with my name. They helped with my luggage and even walked me right into the hotel lobby. It completely took the stress out of the arrival. That set the tone for the rest of the trip. We had 11 people in the pre-cruise extension group, and it didn't take long before we were touring together, eating together, and forming friendships. Looking back now, I realize that doing the extension was perfect as a solo traveler. These weren't just people I met for a few days before the cruise. These were the same people I spent time with on board, on tours, at meals, and in the lounge throughout the entire trip. That early connection made everything easier. I wasn't walking onto a ship with 160 strangers. I already had a group of familiar faces, and that made all the difference. Another part of what made this experience so reassuring as a solo traveler was the AmaWaterways cruise manager. He welcomed me when I arrived for the extension, and was immediately helpful, not just with logistics, but also with things like restaurant suggestions, local safety tips, and how to get around. He explained that the area was considered very safe, with lots of university students around. While it's always important to stay aware, his reassurance made me feel more comfortable if I wanted to explore on my own, which I did, by the way, once I checked into the hotel. We had a detailed schedule for every day of the extension, including downtime, and that structure was extremely helpful. What really stood out was that our cruise manager stayed with us the entire time, from the hotel extension, through embarkation, the full cruise, and even disembarkation. That kind of continuity is relatively unique to AmaWaterways. On many other lines, you're handed off between staff at different stages, but Ama keeps the same person with you throughout. As a solo traveler, having that consistent, knowledgeable presence gave me a real sense of support. It made the whole journey feel more manageable and less overwhelming, especially at moments where I might have otherwise felt a little uncertain. Once on board, AmaWaterways made it easy to feel included right away. On the first night of the cruise, there was a dedicated meetup for solo travelers hosted by one of the ship's officers. We got a short tour and a chance to meet one another, just enough to break the ice and feel more connected. There were at least a dozen solo travelers on my sailing, and nearly all of them were women. That surprised me in a good way. It was reassuring to see that I wasn't the only one doing this alone, so if you're traveling solo, check the daily cruiser on day one and look for that solo meetup. It's a great way to start your cruise with some friendly faces. I don't mind eating alone. Sometimes it's actually a nice break to check messages or touch base with people back home, especially at breakfast. But Ama still made dining incredibly easy and welcoming. Whether it was breakfast, lunch, or dinner, someone almost always invited me to join them, or the crew gently helped guide me to a table with open seats. There are large tables and small ones, and seating is open. Most of the time, I ended up with people I'd met on the extension. But even when I didn't, everyone was friendly. It never felt awkward. AmaWaterways offers excursions at various activity levels, just like we outlined in our AmaWaterways Shore Excursion Guide. Whether you prefer gentle walking tours, more active options, or even biking, there's something for almost everyone. What's interesting is that travelers tend to gravitate toward the same activity level throughout the cruise, so you start seeing some of the same passengers on multiple tours. Over time, that familiarity builds a sense of community, even if you're traveling solo. We already talked about the solo traveler meetup on the first night, but there are plenty of other ways AmaWaterways helps you feel connected on board. Fitness classes were a great way to meet people, as were the onboard lectures and even time in the gym or up on deck during scenic sailing. Afternoon tea was another pleasant surprise. It was relaxed and social, and a great way to strike up a conversation. Sip and sail before dinner was one of the most social moments of the day. It's open seating, drinks are included, and people tend to move around and mingle. I always found it easy to join someone or have someone join me. After dinner, there's usually music or some sort of entertainment in the lounge, although I felt the quality of the evening entertainment was lacking. Apparently, I wasn't the only one. This wasn't a great opportunity to engage with other cruisers because the after-dinner events were not well attended. We will give a shout out to the crew that made an effort to include solo travelers, sometimes even dancing with us. All of these events are listed in the Daily Cruiser, so I recommend checking it each evening after dinner to see what's happening the next day. And if I wanted time to myself, that was easy too. There were always quiet corners, on deck, in the lounge, or in my cabin, when I just wanted a little space. One evening I wasn't feeling 100%, just a little under the weather. But the response from both the crew and fellow passengers really stood out. The staff brought room service directly from the evening dining menu, along with a glass of my favorite wine, without me even having to ask. It was a small gesture, but it made a big difference. Even other guests offered to share over-the-counter medication or offered to stop at a pharmacy during the next port stop to pick something up for me. Even though I didn't feel well, I didn't feel alone. The sense of community on board was truly outstanding. Let's get into what Ama didn't get right. There honestly wasn't much that didn't work for me, but I do have a few small points that stood out. First, the evening entertainment could be more engaging. While there was live music, I think adding more interactive options like trivia nights or games would go a long way in creating more opportunities for solo travelers to connect. In the same spirit, while there was a solo traveler gathering on the first night, an additional social event later in the cruise just for solo passengers could help foster even more connection and camaraderie. Second, finding solo deals on AmaWaterways isn't easy. You have to click through multiple itineraries and dates just to spot a reduced solo fare, and then dig even deeper to see if that teaser rate is actually available for your preferred cabin category. That's not unique to Ama. Most cruise lines don't make it easy for solo travelers to casually browse deals. This is where working with a trusted travel advisor could really help. Another thing that surprised me, if you purchase a pre- or post-cruise extension, AmaWaterways doesn't automatically include a transfer to or from the airport. I think it should be included, but to be fair, my transfer only cost $30. While the transfer to Schiphol Airport got us there efficiently, the experience once we arrived was disappointing. The guide didn't wait for those who needed a little extra time to collect their luggage or grab a rolling cart, and instead walked ahead across traffic into the terminal, leaving several passengers behind on the curb. I could keep up, but most of us slowed down to look out for those who were struggling. Once inside, we were given no guidance on where to go, when check-in would open, or where to wait. For many in our group, especially those who needed extra support, it was a confusing and frustrating way to end an otherwise wonderful cruise. It's unfortunate that our final impression was a letdown. Now that I've shared some of the things AmaWaterways didn't quite get right, let's pivot into some helpful tips for solo travelers on a river cruise. I touched on this earlier, but it's worth emphasizing again. If your schedule and budget allow, the pre-cruise extension is well worth it. One of its biggest benefits is the opportunity to connect with a smaller group of fellow travelers before the cruise even begins. Our group had 11 people, but even with the maximum of 40, it's still a much more intimate setting than what you'll experience on board. You'll also get to meet your cruise manager early on, which means there's already a familiar face to guide you from start to finish during your AmaWaterways journey. Next, look for solo-friendly promotions. River cruising can be expensive, and the costs can really add up for solo travelers. The majority of river cruise lines do offer solo promotions, but they're often buried. You may need to dig to find them. Just an FYI, I rarely see solo deals on Viking river cruises, which is a very popular line. For them, either work with a travel advisor who knows how to search, or be prepared to click through individual itineraries on their website and change the number of guests to one. Occasionally, you'll see a reduced solo supplement, but they aren't frequent nor advertised up front. On board, take advantage of solo traveler get-togethers. Some cruise lines will schedule these events, often on the first night. If they do, go, but don't stop there. Try to get out of your comfort zone and join others in the lounge or at mealtimes. Even if you're introverted like me, remember that the crew has a pretty good sense of who else is solo or open to company. Let them seat you, or just ask if you can join someone's table. It can really change your experience. You know that safety is really important to me, and in my opinion, it should be a top priority, especially if you're traveling solo. That brings me to my next tip, choosing the right personal bag. Packing smart isn't just about your suitcase, it's about what you carry day to day. I use the same Travel-On Classic messenger bag I've relied on for years. It's lightweight, crossbody, and secure, with all the compartments I need to stay organized and feel safe. And this leads us into the next tip, packing light. Even though you're booking a cruise and might have transfers included, you'll still be handling your luggage at times, especially in airports during hotel transitions or in emergency situations. It can be really difficult to manage multiple or heavy bags on your own. Personally, I travel with one rolling check bag, or a carry-on for shorter trips, and one backpack. This setup keeps my hands free to manage everything efficiently. When I'm in the airport and need quick access to paperwork, I wear my Travel-On crossbody to keep everything secure and at my fingertips. When I don't need it, the whole crossbody slips inside my backpack. That system works well for me. This next one's a bit controversial and not everyone agrees, but I've always used a selfie stick and have never regretted it. Other travelers, especially on river cruises, are almost always happy to take photos of you. But there are times when you may not want to hand your phone over to a stranger or you simply don't have anyone around. I also recommend bringing a small tripod if you're traveling alone and want to take wider shots. Personally, I like the DJI Osmo because it has a tripod attachment, a telescoping extension, and lets me take photos with gestures or the timer on my phone's camera app. If that feels like too much gear, even a basic selfie stick and your camera's timer will get the job done. Things can and do go wrong. Always have a backup plan to get from point A to point B. That might mean being ready to call an Uber or taxi, having some local cash on hand, and keeping important addresses written down or stored on your phone. The key is to avoid looking lost or confused, which can make you a target. Be prepared. And this moves us easily into our last tip. Stay connected. Plan cell phone coverage into your travel budget. It's not just about staying in touch, it's about safety. Having a working phone allows you to share your location with family or friends, call your cruise line in an emergency, and access maps while exploring. When walking alone, I always keep one AirPod in my ear so I can hear directions discreetly without having to hold my phone out like a lost tourist. Staying connected helps you feel more confident when you're solo, and honestly, it's essential.
Solo travel can be a little daunting at first, but with the right planning and a little bit of courage, it can be one of the most rewarding travel experiences you will ever have.
Have you ever taken a solo river cruise, or are you considering a solo river cruise? Let us know your questions or experiences in the comments below. Your comments might help someone else, and because all proceeds from this channel go to charity, your support truly makes a difference. And look for links to the products I mention in this video, like my go-to travel-on bag, down below in the description.
We hope you enjoyed this video about my first solo river cruising experience with AmaWaterways. Always remember to make meaningful and healthy travel happen, and we'll see you next time.